Now we get to do something you guys have been asking for a while, but in a very different way. We're going to AAA territory kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
But this AAA is unlike normal AAAs because this is a Japanese AAA. And you can notice that
Hey, John.
there's a big difference between Japanese developers, whether they're indie or not, and other developers, whether they're
Mm-hmm.
triple A or not.
Mm-hmm. Uh, you do want, like, Peyton, thanks for coming on. You do want at least, something to break up that text down there. Because you need something to keep somebody's attention as they're scrolling down the page.
Yep. And hello, Tim.
So, as Shark's saying, we are switching over to a AAA. And we've gotten people asking us to take a look at what the AAA is going for.
Gordo says he smells bias.
But it's always good to at least have, some studio, some kind of branding.
Yeah. You could call it Burnett Studios,
Mm-hmm.
You could call it Tim Studios,
Mm-hmm.
You could call it Tim Burnett Studios, although I probably wouldn't do that. But,
Mm-hmm. So,
I mean,
to get back to this, the important thing we need to preface with this section is that when we're going to grade this, we're grading this on the structures that we set up for the show. So, what that means is, like, this store page is set up a lot for branding. And as an indie developer, you're not going to have access to this. Like, you won't be getting access to a brand name, at least at this level, that you can kind of sell your game on.
yeah. If you're getting access to licenses such as Gundam or,
Mm-hmm.
My Hero Academia or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
you're probably not watching our
Naruto.
show, number one.
Yeah.
And number two is the methods you use still need to be the same methods
Mm-hmm.
that we talk about.
Yeah.
But you see that most of these pretty much none of the AAAs ever actually follow that.
Mm-hmm.
They normally
And that's
follow
because
part of it.
they have branding and money, which are two things that you don't have as an indie dev.
Yeah. A lot of AAAs rely on hype. And
Mm-hmm.
this is definitely one of those that rely on hype. Although, that said, hype is very, very valuable to marketing and to your store page. But without a license, without really good aesthetics, without a lot of things that most indies do not have,
Mm-hmm.
it's not possible.
Yep.
But you definitely, if you can get good hype, definitely get it, because hype will sell games.
But, as we're going to talk about, the store page, despite the hype, makes a lot of mistakes that we've dinged developers on. So, let's start with the title. SD Gundam G Generation Cross Race. Oh wait, I'm sorry, It's SD Gundam G Generation Cross Race.
You still messed it up. It's SDG Generation Cross Race. It's
There's a lot of G here.
Yeah, that name is way too long and way too over the top. I mean, what they should have done is named it SD Gundam Cross Race.
Yep.
Just drop the G generation out of it.
Or just have one G. Like, I don't know why we need the super fancy G in this thumbnail.
Oh. Well, I think the super fancy G is more important than the one in the name, but like...
Mm-hmm. Like, this is a very typical, like, AAA thumbnail. That, title is super front and center, and then nothing else really matters on this thumbnail, at least to the developer.
Mm-hmm. But that name is
Ooh.
really, really polished and really, really awesome.
It's a polished name, but there's no Gundam. There's literally nothing about Gundam on this page other than the fact that it says Gundam, and that is the smallest text possible.
Yeah. For somebody who is not aware of Gundam, they're going to say this and be like, hey, there's some really fancy text there, and that's it. You know what I mean?
And neon. We got neon. We got these crossing the rays.
Don't cross the rays.
Mm-hmm.
Ghostbusters have taught us that.
Yeah.
Don't cross the rays.
So,
or did they cross us? Or did they teach us to cross the rays? Because something awesome happened when they crossed the rays.
Do it, but don't do it. Is that safely extreme?
Yeah.
So, the thumbnail, again, like, you can tell somebody put in a lot of time to make all the text pop. We have, the kind of like border around all the text. We have different colors. But it's just so much. Like, it eats up so much real estate on this thumbnail. And this is something, as an indie developer, you do not want to do.
Yeah. This is definitely a good way to make text. But you don't want this much text.
It's text the game.
The problem is the name. Yeah. But the issue is, being AAA, the person who decided the name and the person who, had to make the thumbnail
probably aren't the same people.
Nothing to do with each other. They probably hadn't even seen each other passing in the hallways.
They might even be in the same country.
Yeah, probably not.
So, overall grade-wise, like, for me, this is in the C range. I mean, it's very pretty text, but if you're not a fan of Gundam or the letter G, I don't think it's going to make you want to click on it.
Are you not a fan of the letter G?
I'm more a fan of the letter J.
For J frames?
Mm-hmm.
What about I for I frames?
Yeah. So, what about you? What are you going to give it?
I think that I'll give it 2 grades. One grade based off of what the artist had to work with. The artist that made this thumbnail had to work with that big-ass, long-ass, clunky name. There is nothing they could do about it. And considering that, I think they worked really wonders with this thumbnail. But if you consider it, as of just a normal thumbnail and what it does, yeah, I think this is C range.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it definitely stands out in a way, so I would say C+, because it does grab your attention. Mm-hmm. But it tells you nothing about the game.
And what Shark just said there, you're going to be hearing that quite a lot over the next probably 10 to 15 minutes when we look more at the store page.
Yep.
Alright, yeah, so I think I'm going to stick with a C for it. But you're going to see again, as we're going to go through this page, how it's kind of going to break our scoring system to some extent. Because this store page, as with most AAA, it has 2 things that indie developers don't have. Lots and lots of money, and lots of branding that goes into it.
And lots of hype.
Yeah.
Although you can get that out of indie, but it's hard.
Mm-hmm.
And you definitely want to try for it.
There you go. Next Generation Game Wisdom, exactly. That's going to be our new name. So, let us go with you
forgot the G generation.
We're going to look only at the first trailer because that is the release trailer. The second one is kind of the pre-order trailer. So, Are you ready?
Yeah, as long as the team cooperates.
Yeah.
Alright, 3, 2, 1, go.
There's a good chance we may get a copyright claim for this music, I don't know.
Yeah, turn down the music, because this one's a loud one.
Yeah.
Definitely a good code opening there.
Mm-hmm. It's got hype to it, that's for sure.
Yeah, this is hype central.
Yeah.
This is climax the trailer kind of thing. And all of this is actually gameplay, believe it or not. This is not just, cutscenes that have, that are sectioned between the gameplay. This is actually in the maps where you're doing gameplay.
Yeah.
At least the vast majority of it, if not all of it.
Every cutscene is based like a Final Fantasy summon cutscene in this game, but in terms of length.
Yeah, every animation is basically that.
Yeah. And again, this is what happens when you have lots and lots of money that you can throw at a project.
Yeah. Hype the trailer, Climax the trailer.
Mm-hmm.
Buy Self Observer 9000.
And it does have a call to action at the end.
Yep, and it does say Steam on there, and that's really good. And then they have a closing here, an extra little bonus with Hato.
Mm-hmm.
Which is also a really good thing to do.
Yeah. So, buy sells over 9,000, yes. So, here's the thing about this trailer. Production-wise, they put money into this. We can't argue that point.
There's gameplay in there too, but it's not the gameplay. There's not the section of gameplay that you need to determine on what is the genre, because
we still don't know what this game is. We know there's trailers, we know there's cutscenes.
When we talk about like normal tactical RPGs, we talk about that because that's what this is. It is all in engine, John. Believe it or not, it is 100% in engine, and you will see that tonight because Josh is actually playing it tonight.
For exactly an hour and a half, because that's as much time I have left on my 2-hour buy-in. But
it is 100% in engine. It is 100%. That is just attack animations.
Yeah, and
this is a tactical RPG, and we've talked about this before. That tactical RPGs are anything turn-based is so hard to show off and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
And you mainly want to show off your attack animations. And that's what this is. This is all attack animations.
Yeah. And
so they got that part right, but they did not get the part that, tells you what the gameplay is. Because, in, my game, Chromasia, you want to show movement and you want to show the attack animation, but you only want to show, the movement, maybe once or twice kind of thing, and damage numbers after that. But the problem is they didn't show the movement. They didn't show any of the actual gameplay maps. They didn't show.
I don't know what this
damage
game's
numbers
about.
At the end.
They
just showed straight cut to the attack animations, and since their attack animations don't even take place on the normal map kind of thing, and they're basically a cutscene essentially.
It's just all cutscenes.
Yeah.
And
so while it is all in game, all game footage, and all this stuff,
it's all hype.
There's nothing here that tells you what the core gameplay loop is, and nothing on this page actually even tells you that, except for one little line that says it's a tactical RPG.
So the trailer gray is going to be a little weird because of that, because it's got production values, it has structure, but it fails in one of the most important parts, to get somebody excited about the gameplay.
Well, I mean, you get them excited about the game, just not the gameplay.
Yeah. But with El Gordo, I don't really, again, I'm not a brand guy. I don't care about brands and hype when it comes to games. I care about gameplay. So,
same here.
If you are a Gundam fan, you probably are, jumping for joy at this trailer. If you're not a Gundam fan, you're probably sitting there going, yeah, that looks pretty, now what?
Yeah. For me, myself, I'm a fan of certain Gundam series, and I hate other Gundam series. So, I'm kind of in the middle. I'm half fan, half not. So, I look at that, and I see it, and I get really hyped and everything. But it's what kind of game is this?
Yeah. So, for me, I think I'm in the C range for the trailer. What about you?
The only thing they needed to do is add maybe 1-2 seconds of footage
Mm-hmm.
Divided up into several parts. One part, where it shows, map, and then you see a character move over to another character, and then initiates the animations, cut to animation kind of thing, and then cut back to the map and show the damage numbers, and then just play animations, attack animations for the rest of the trailer. And this would, I think, be a very, very solid trailer because you would have a firm grasp of what it is. You just need that like 1 or 2 seconds worth of footage added to this, and this would be an amazing trailer.
Yeah. But as it stands right now,
it's not in there.
Yep.
And because it's not in there, nobody can tell what genre the game even is. Is this a visual novel? Is this a first-person shooter? Is this a third-person shooter?
I'm sure this is a dating sim.
It could be a Gundam dating sim for all we know. And there's just that little bit would just go so far in this. But at the same time, the trailer needs very little to be good, to be a great trailer. At the same time, the trailer does an amazing job at hype. I don't think you can do much better hype-wise than that. So, like, it gets an S+ when it comes to hype, but when it comes to, letting you know what kind of gameplay it is, it's a F-, kind of thing. So I would say overall, hype is more important to selling a game than knowing what the gameplay loop, because if you hype a person enough, they're either going to buy the game and see what the gameplay loop is, or they're going to go on YouTube like I did and look up the game and find out what kind of game it is, and then kind of evaluate from there, and based off what you see on your YouTube channel. So I'd say no, I don't think it's only related to fans. I think that hype would hype anybody. But the way it would hype fans is as an instant sell. The way it would hype normal consumers is like, that looks really awesome. What the hell is this?
Yeah. And you'll see that with a lot of AAA games, that the trailer or the store pages are there for the fans, so they're kind of half-assed in that way, because they know that if you're a fan of Dark Souls, you're going to buy Dark Souls 2, or you're going to buy Dark Souls 3. Like, we don't need to do anything more at that point to sell you. Like, we use Nintendo's example. Nintendo could have, a store page of the cardboard cutout of Mario for the thumbnail. It'll probably still sell 20 million copies.
Yeah. They could put a trailer that just said, popped up the Nintendo logo and then ended,
And it'll still sell a few million, yeah. So, overall, what do you give the trailer?
I think, the demerits from the missing that few seconds of, second or two gameplay footage, on top of the hype they generate. Obviously, for the fans, they're hardcore fans are instantly sold, but for the normal consumers, not so much. But it definitely will hype a vast majority of them. And I think because of that, I'm going to give it a B-.
Okay. And I think I'm going to stick with my C. Like, we're going to be, I think, a little bit... Our grading's going to be a little bit off, I think, for this one. And, yeah, so let's go to the... It is supposedly a franchise, although I've never heard any other games in it.
Are you talking about the SD franchise? Are you talking about the tactical RPG franchise?
Or the G franchise?
Are you talking about the Gundam franchise? If you're talking about the SD franchise, there's a lot in it.
Yeah.
If you're talking about the, and most of them I don't like. If you're talking about the Crossrays or G Generation, or the tactical RPG section, I have no idea. But apparently, this is not the first.
All right. So the screenshots, again, they are all cutscenes. They look really amazing.
And they're all zoomed in and cropped and look really nice with no UI in it.
But still no gameplay.
Yeah. I think all of these screenshots are really good. But there needs to be stuff that actually tells you what the hell this game is about. There needs to be, screenshots of different maps. There needs to be screenshots of,
the UI
huh?
the UI. There, something.
Menuing and all this other kind of stuff. Like if you added another 5 screenshots to this with that kind of stuff in it, this would be an easy A+.
Yeah,
if not S.
But
without it, there's just this really polished stuff that looks amazing and definitely generates hype again, but tells you nothing about the actual gameplay. So
I think I'm in the B range for those screenshots. What about you?
I think I'm in the C range because there's no gameplay, there's nothing here that expands from the other, and screenshots will not gather the amount of hype that the trailer will. So I gave the trailer extra bonus points for the hype, you know what I mean? But after you watch the trailer hype, you're not going to be really hyped from these screenshots kind of thing.
Maybe I'll go with a C+ then, because it's all high quality, it's all different. But again, if we could just throw in a few screenshots of gameplay, of menus, of UI, it would do so much.
This is technically gameplay. It's just
controllable gameplay. How about that?
Yeah, that would be that'd be the term. Controllable gameplay.
So let us go down. Let's see, where the about this game section? That's all pre-order stuff. We don't worry about this. Alright, so about this game, we start with a GIF. Creation.
Which is really, really good and hyped. Again, the theme with this.
And we actually get a description of what this game is. It's a iconic tactical RPG series.
Discover the latest entry in the iconic tactical RPG series.
So we have another
I hope that's enough to tell you what this gameplay loop is about, because that's all we're going to get, just that one line.
Oh, yes.
Nothing else will ever mention gameplay for the rest of the
we got featuring game design unique to the series, but no descriptions of what any of that means. We have a plus sign. I don't know what that means, as plus.
Yeah,
and then we have
just a typo.
Again, you get all the Gundam. All the series here.
Well, that's not all the Gundam. That is far cry from all the Gundam. That is probably not even 1/10 of the Gundam. There's a lot of Gundam.
So again, the store page is designed more as an afterthought. I feel like this is not meant to get somebody new to play this game. This is basically meant to say, "Hey, do you really like Gundam? Look at this."
Yeah. And the thing is I think there's legitimate reasons to play this without being fans of Gundam, because from what I've played of it so far, there's some pretty unique and pretty different, tactical RPG stuff in this game that has inspired me, kind of thing. I don't know what it's inspired me for, but it's, the gameplay has credits of its own, but the store page is showing nothing of it.
And it doesn't even really have that much structure to it. It has 3 GIFs, and that's about it.
Yeah, there's no blue text, there's no custom banners, there's no, they did space out paragraphs and, at the very beginning, and that's
it. And then they
list
just have
the series at the end kind of thing.
Yeah, so this is not how you... again, the GIFs are high quality. They are really great, but that is the only thing about this game page has going for it.
And there needs to be a gameplay GIF down here, or GIF.
Yeah. So I think for me, I'm going to go low on this about this game page. I think I'm going to give it a D+. Because I still don't know what this game is. If I didn't play 30 minutes of this game last night, I would literally have no idea what it is I'm doing in this game. I still don't really know what I'm doing in this game. It's that complicated.
Well, it's that lack of onboarding.
Yeah. And the About This Game page is about lack of onboarding, too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the running theme.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I would go with a. Would you say a D minus?
D plus.
You said D plus.
Mm-hmm. So, what would you give it?
I'm debating.
And again, like for those of you watching, as if you're longtime fans, fan reaction, fandom, that stuff. It doesn't even like register in my brain. So like hype and all that doesn't really matter to me.
I'm debating between C minus, D plus, and solid D.
Hmm. And the only reason why I'm giving it a D, why it gets the plus for me, is that the gifts draw your eye. Like as you're scrolling down, your eyes immediately go to these high quality gifts.
Yeah, the gifts are on point. That's pretty much the only thing here.
Yep.
I think I'll go with a solid D. I think I'm going to go lower than you. Because again, the hype here from these, these gifts are definitely hype. Mm-hmm. But after seeing the trailer, you get desensitized. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think I'll stay like D plus. There we go.
That's the perfect rating. It's just G plus. It's a G plus.
Yeah. So let's go to the title card now. So we have 2 tags. RPG
you have a
and
long
strategy.
Ass name too that doesn't even fit on the line that they give you for the title.
Mm-hmm. So it needs at least one more tag. Single player. I'm trying to think if there's any other ones that could fit. Could we call this an indie game?
Indie.
Should we call this one an indie game?
Yeah, we could just tag it as indie.
Mm-hmm.
But they do have 2 really good, really important tags, RPG and strategy. So, I mean, like, I think that's better than a lot of people that have 3 tags. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. So
I think they could have definitely gone better, but I think they got 2 really, really good tags on here.
Yeah. Well, we do say at minimum you want 3.
Yeah.
So there is no contact information, no Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, Twitch. The only thing this has...
website.
Yeah. The website is high quality, but it's the publisher website. That there's no way to directly get...
No, it's I believe it's the actual game website.
Well, it's part of Bandai Namco's site, so I think it's the store page on the publisher's side.
Okay, so it's a publisher site, but it is a game page.
Yeah, so there's no real way to get in touch with a developer. You have to go through Bandai Namco, and as someone who's tried to go through them before, they're very hard to talk to. Mm-hmm. So, again, it's a title card that doesn't really do anything to pull in somebody who's not already a fan.
Yeah, but it does have very good genre tags. And I do think that having 2 good tags is better than having 3 so-so tags. Mm-hmm. Or 2 so-so tags, indie and single player, and, 1 genre tag that actually matters. Like the last game had racing and then 2 tags that really didn't matter. Mm-hmm. I think having these 2 tags that matter is better than having what the last one did. You know what I mean?
But it's still missing a lot of what we ding other developers for.
Yeah.
So I feel like I'm thinking maybe D plus C minus
for this title card.
Yeah, maybe C minus. So what about you?
I mean, like if we're rating it on AAA by AAA standards, or by AAA methods, and by what I mean by AAA methods is Bandai Namco has a shit ton of people already contacting them, and they don't want more people piling onto that list. The contact thing is not a big deal, based off of that. Mm-hmm. Based off of that, side of things, if you're basing it off of a AAA, which you should not be unless you're a AAA, I would say this title card's pretty dang good, because it does everything they need it to do.
Yeah.
But for an indie, you definitely do not want a title card like this.
Yeah.
You do not want one anywhere close to this. For AAA wise, this is probably an A+.
Yeah.
For indies, I don't think I'd go with your. What would you give it? A
D+, C-.
Yeah, I think for an indie, this would be a D-.
Yeah. I need to step aside for like 2 minutes. I just got a call. I need to check on this. I'll be right back.
All right.
I am back, and I am completely drenched. It is pouring like something else out there right now.
You should just live in the water like me.
It's hype rain going on right now. All the hype has come down because I gave the game a low score.
Well, what I was talking about while you were gone was that, basically, when we looked at the store page, when we looked at it, basically, I gave it a few grades higher on the trailer, and because of all the hype, and then it seems like you were less harsh on everything else, and I was more harsh on everything else. So, like, I think we're going to kind of come to the same grade kind of thing, because, like, it seems like you took, like, I definitely sung the hype of the trailer kind of thing, but, like, the other stuff was not very hype, kind of thing, because, but it seemed like you were adding a little bit, hype to everything, and I was like, you're kind of like just dividing the hype evenly. I'm like, no, all the hype's in the trailer, and all this other stuff is like, it's not selling me because I've already seen the trailer. I've already been desensitized by the trailer.
So yeah, I think overall, grade wise for me, again, if you're a Gundam fan, you're probably going to give this an A or an S rank, because you've already been sold on the game, much like you would be sold on Dark Souls, Dragon Ball, Naruto, whatever. But as a store page, like from what we grade metrics on, it's not a good page. And again, if you're an indie developer, this is not what you want to do in terms of the structure of your page.
Yeah. This page is built to sell fans on it. But the issue is, most of the fans are already sold.
Yeah, and if you look at the review score for this, it's sitting at not even 5,000 reviews. And for a AAA game, that is not good.
Yeah, that's quite bad for a AAA.
As a point of comparison, let's see what Dark Souls 3 has.
I didn't even realize the game was that old.
Like, Dark Souls 3 has 175,000 reviews. Now, it came out, of course, 5 years ago, but, again, 5,000, like, I told about indie developers who need to get to 5,000. Like, this is a AAA that didn't even break 5,000.
How many did you get? How many did Dark Souls get?
I think I said 171,000.
So, 117K.
Yeah.
And this is sitting at 4K. Ooh, that is not good for this game.
Yeah, and again, yes, this game came out 3 years ago, but the thing about AAA, or I'm sorry, 2 years ago, is that because, again, of how much hype and marketing that goes into it, most AAA games do not get like a sustained sales long term. They get a huge burst in the beginning, and then it kind of just goes down because everyone who's going to buy the game has bought the game already.
Well, that goes with all games, not just AAA.
Yeah, but with AAA, there's less of that chance of, like, that burst of, a big-time YouTuber or somebody discovering the game and then letting people know about it. But, the whole Among Us phenomenon.
You mean the walking out and getting hit by 3 lightning bolts?
Yeah.
Buying a winning lotto ticket.
Or getting completely covered in rain.
Yeah, get shot by 3 more lightning bolts and then get home. Did you get shot by 3 lightning bolts on the way out to get the groceries?
No, I just got lots and lots of rain.
Did you get a winning lotto ticket in
No,
your groceries? Did you get shot by lightning 3 times on the way back in?
no. I didn't see any sharks outside either.
Mm. Well, it looks like you're not going to get lucky with the game.
Yeah. So, for me, I would give the store page, I think, in the D plus C minus. I don't know, like maybe D plus C minus range.
How can
Maybe
you
on
go
a
that low? Because
good day
you
a
gave the
C.
trailer, you gave the trailer a C minus.
Yeah. But nothing else on the store page is really helping me make my mind up about this game.
I think you gave everything else like a C,
Yeah.
basically.
Yeah.
I don't see how you get a whole bunch of C's and stuff, and then you come up with a D something. I think you miscalculated or something. There.
I think I'll give this a C minus. I think that's as high as I will go then, because there's nothing here again as somebody who doesn't really care about Gundam that makes me want to buy this game or look more into this. It's all pretty, but if you're not already sold on this game, the store page is just non-existent. The store page fails in selling you on this game if you're not already a fan of Gundam.
I think it still sells you on the game. It sells you on the game through hype, not through gameplay though. And I think people who are not fans are still have a decent chance of hitting that buy button just to see what the gameplay is, or going and looking up on YouTube to see what the gameplay is. And when they're when you have enough hype to drive that extra action kind of thing, it's a better store page kind of thing. I gave the trailer a B minus.
Mm-hmm.
You gave it a C, so I went like two grades below. But I was harsher on everything else. Like everything else, I graded below you.
Yeah. But the trailer is more important than everything else.
Yeah. But everything else, I graded a lot more harsher than you, and I think that everything else brings that trailer down from like a B minus to like I think probably like a solid C.
I mean, like I said, I think I'm going to stick C minus C range. I'll lean more closer to the C side of things because of the average of everything else. But as we've said, the important thing to keep note is that this is not an indie studio. This is not an indie developer. And a lot of what we...
No more rules do not apply to them.
Yeah. And a lot of the things that are on this page are examples of do not do. Because as an indie developer, you don't have an entire department with millions of dollars dedicated to marketing and branding. You don't have...
I'll put it to you this way. If this was my store page, I wouldn't change anything. I would just, besides the thumbnail, I would add to it.
If this was an indie developer, we would probably give it far lower of a grade for what's on the store page.
Oh yeah, because they wouldn't have the
hype,
level
the
hype.
branding, exactly.
Yeah.
So
I don't care anything about the branding, but the hype matters.
Mm-hmm.
The hype matters in the store page, and an indie developer would not be able to pull this hype off. At least not likely to pull this level of hype off.
Unless you somehow get those 3 lightning strikes, and then you somehow maybe save the life of a Toei executive who decides to give you the Dragon Ball license for free. But with that, we will wrap things up. I need to go back out into the G rain and get soaked a little bit more. But I would like to thank Tim for submitting his game this week. If you would like us to take a look at your game for a future show or re-review one that you've worked on, please get in touch.
Yep. And make sure to lick the smash button, smash the like button, and subscribe to both of our channels. Join both of our Discords. All the links to each other's channels, because you're on one but not the other. And, Discords and all that stuff, Twitter, all that's down in the description. And also, do not forget the true ranking of this game.
Just G.
It's G plus.
All right, so that's going to do it for Indie Inquiries on G Game G Wisdom. Come back for daily discussions on game design here and on game wisdom, worries on the art and science of games. And as always, if you would like to watch these shows live, we do them Thursdays starting around 3:30 ET, and our Sunday design shows starting at 4:30 ET. But that's it for me. Anything you want to add there, G Shark?
It's studying the G science of games.
There. All right, everyone. Have a great day. Hopefully you don't get rained out like I am, and see you next time.
G, see ya.